Now, look, not everything that we do finds great favour. I mean, I'm always in the news for colourful reasons about fisheries, and there was a protest by some social influencers recently over the Harbour Bridge. A whole lot of guys and girls, they turned up in four-wheel drives and their outboard motors and their runabouts and their million-dollar boats, protesting against me over the introduction of some highly protected areas in the Hauraki Gulf. What's bizarre about that, the only party who had nothing to do with these new reserves in the Hauraki Gulf was New Zealand First. We weren't even in politics when Labour introduced it. But facts and mythology and misinformation takes root. And it just shows that there's a lot of keyboard spite where I'm concerned, because we are trying to do things that are a major departure. And of course, many of the protesters who turned up at the Auckland Harbour Bridge have a hateful relationship towards the commercial fisheries sector. Well, sorry, there's a lot of Kiwis, God-fearing families who are eking out an existence, catching fish, crewing vessels, and I've got every right to challenge the people whose outboards should have been motoring under the bridge, not over the bridge. And they just seem to think by sending all sorts of vile messages against the commercial fishing industry and my good self, that somehow they're going to beat me out of shape. It's not how democracy works. Now,
So
of course,
let me get this right. The Hauraki Gulf, it has certain protected areas that were introduced by a previous government.
Indeed. And then what happened was that the National and the ACT Party, they came to us to vote for the passage. I grandfathered the rights of 6 modest mullet and trevally fishermen for 3 years so they could continue to fish in 2 of those areas for 3 months a year during winter and sell that protein into South Auckland for the working class families, largely Polynesian and Māori, who use that fish. And that turned into some catastrophic grievance in the minds of these recreational social influences that somehow the Hauraki Gulf had been handed over to commercial fishing. So grossly incorrect, very difficult. But I did have a good meeting, mate, with the chairman of the sports fishing clubs, and they're concerned about the future of the marlin fishery. You may remember that Labour character called Colin Moyle, when you and I were both younger. He did a deal that the marlin fishery would remain a key sports fishery and a recreational fishery. And when we're exploring whether or not should the commercial sector who catches these things incidentally be enabled to bring them back to shore as opposed to just letting them go in the sea, which is what they're expected to do now. So we initiated some consultation, and then the red flag went up with them. But I have to say, they've got a brilliant young chairman, Andrew Johnson, who's got a great future ahead of him. He's actually dredging the Wanganui River today, and I'm going to work with him and the Sports Fishing Council. But all these social influencers who have as their agenda the destruction of New Zealand First, they've met their match in me.
All right. Thank you for that, Shane. Nice to talk to you. Have a great week. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay.